And believe it or not, we're rolling. Got it.
I don't know why I feel like I have to yell because the music's playing in here. But
You don't have to yell.
okay,
They do not pick up atmospheric sound. Ambient noise is the term I was looking for, actually,
okay.
on that one.
So, welcome to episode number 11
Yeah.
of Off Angle. Today we have a very special guest, the second guest in Off Angle history,
Yeah. But the first scheduled guest.
the first scheduled guest, our goalie partner in crime, Drennen Atherton, Florida native.
Yeah.
What else can we say about Drago?
Grew up playing roller hockey. Transitioned to ice hockey.
Yeah,
And the rest is history, as they say.
we're extremely happy to have you, Dragon. So, yeah. I'll give you the mic for a little bit. Stewie, take it away.
All right, yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
I mean, should we talk about how the fact that we're at a goalie camp right now?
Yeah, you should probably start.
Maybe mention, hey, by the way, we're at our goalie camp.
Yeah. So okay. So back to me. Yeah, we're live from the second annual Alabama Modern Goaltending Camp,
The old PCC.
the Pelham Civic Complex. In the background here, we've got
The workout.
what we're calling a gym, our workout area for our camp attendees, and I'm sure the kids will be rolling in here at any moment.
Yep. We're on the practice rink side, which a lot of the people have told me have never seen before,
Right.
because there's a, believe it or not, rodeo going on the other side.
Like a legitimate rodeo. Like as we're talking, probably 50 yards from us,
Yeah.
there is hundreds of cattle
Yeah.
and horses.
Yeah. There's a lot of, and hundreds of pounds of dirt, thousands of pounds of dirt.
Right.
In, like, the main area outside the Bulls front office.
Yeah. And cowboys.
And
Hundreds of cowboys.
That's the best part.
So it's an interesting scenario we find ourselves in for this year's camp.
For the first time in that arena, there's actual bulls in there.
Right.
So take that for what it's worth.
Right.
Disrespect Toro like that. Come on.
Sorry, Toro. Actually, no, you're right. Yeah, Toro's.
Toro's probably pissed.
He's probably in it. He's probably performing right now. We should go over there.
I don't know if Toro's nails enough to handle an actual bull.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you and him sort that out. I'm going to stay out of it. I'm going to say Toro is.
I mean, I know Toro on a pretty personal level, and he's not the toughest guy I know. Let's just say that.
He's a bull.
Right. But have you ever seen him do anything that's tough?
No, he
Like
just
these
goes,
bulls
he,
out
no,
here
he
are
just
tough.
he just high fives kids
Right.
every game.
Right.
And then gives me the occasional high five. Sometimes he snubs me. He just big leagues me.
Right.
Trying to give Toro a high five before a game, get some confidence. Just
I would have to ask Toro, but maybe he's like retired. Maybe he used to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, you're right. And now
Yeah.
now he does some mascotting and probably some modeling on the side.
Right. Okay, so given that we're at camp and we have no notes written, no plan for this one, I think it might be a good opportunity to discuss goalie camps.
Yeah, and how to get the most out of it, maybe.
Yeah. So I need you to take that away because my brain's mush at the moment.
Okay, so we went to how we're at camp. I think we should transition back to Drennen.
Okay.
Give him the mic for a second because he kind of got cut off by me talking about how we're at camp.
Okay. Good call.
All right, I'm back. Here we go.
He's back. So what do you got for us?
Well, no notes, so I'm gonna spitball here. But no, it's good to be back here in Alabama. Lottie's done a hell of a job with this camp. I mean, it's one of the best camps I've ever seen. I don't know about you, but I mean, down to just how things operated, the things we have, the staff is unbelievable. I mean, obviously you two, and then we got our own, the Bulls training coach. We got everything you could possibly need from a camp and everything you need to grow. So, I mean, this camp is unbelievable. So it's nice to be here.
There's definitely a lot that goes into it, and I think staff-wise, we might have the biggest staff that I've ever seen for a camp.
Yeah, very professional. I mean, even the merchandise we got here, we're rocking. We had Seth take a couple pictures, which is, oh my God, my mom would kill for
the
that.
media day was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So,
I never had that when I was growing up at team
one does.
or camp or anything.
no, that's the first time I've ever seen it anywhere. So it's miles above everything else. So it's only a second camp. So it's gonna be it's gonna be awesome to see how it
Oh.
gets better from here.
We got people coming in here for a workout. Coming in hot. And I was about to say. So getting some work in.
Let's go.
No pressure.
Higher knees, higher knees. There we go. Don't look so casual, Shay. Shay has the best hair at camp. Do we have an award for that?
You know what? I coach at a camp that does have an award for best flow. And so we might have to.
Okay.
I would not. I would not. He would win that one. Yeah.
See me pointing. This is Shay right here. He's got the curls. It's unbelievable.
Actually, now that I'm looking, Dylan's hair is pretty. He's kind of got like the Chaz Michael's hair. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's the other character from that movie? What's his name?
Jimmy McElroy.
Jimmy McElroy. Would I be wrong to say that if Shay had blonde hair, he'd be Jimmy McElroy with his curls?
Does Jimmy McElroy have curls? Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, he's got his curly hair.
It might not be that curly, but
Yeah, but it's.
there's a draft of.
What do they
hair
say?
coming from them
What do
right
they
now.
say in Blades of Glory? Tethered and lethal. Feathered and lethal.
Feathered
and lethal.
Feathered and lethal. Yeah.
The mane and tail shampoo, which the horses probably use over there.
Yeah. Probably. All right. Stole your mic again.
All right, thank you.
Can we just give Drennen the mic here for a second?
There we go. We got.
We need a third mic.
Yeah, we need to.
We'll get one. We do
Early
need it.
days. Early days. Second guess, learning curves.
That's right.
But yeah, what else we got? What else we want to go over? We got camp.
Well,
we got
yeah, I think maybe just talk about goalie camp, and if you're a student at goalie camp, how you can get the most out of camp. Because I remember going to camps. I enjoyed them. Did my best to get the most out of them, but I think you want to be prepared going into a camp to learn the most, number one, because that's probably the main thing you get out of a camp, right? You want to learn because you can take that with you. You can only do so many reps at a camp, but everything that you learn, you can take with you to the next camp, the next practice, the next game, and just continue to mold your game that way.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things I think you can take from a camp is just a knowledge from the coaches. I mean, I'm sure you've done it. We've gone to many different camps, and your technique changes over time. You learn what you like and don't like. So outside of just technique from camps, you got the coaches, nutrition, you got workout, the work ethic, just the advice that like we've gone through that we're able to give to these kids to help them not the mistakes we did.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, that's the biggest thing you can learn in general. It's just, to me, it's just learning from other people's mistakes and the advice that they give you.
Yeah, absolutely. I like tangible checklist guy. I like step-by-step lists. So if we could compile a list of however X many things you can do to get the most out of camp, what would we start with? I'm gonna go out on a limb for number one.
All right,
Make sure that your gear, travel, everything is 100% ready to go. Because there's camp, you have a lot going on. It's going to be hard to find time to get your gear worked on, if you're lucky enough to. It's going to, luckily we have Pack here, our equipment manager, sharpening skates.
Yeah, not every camp's going to have that, so you kind of got to make sure that your skates are sharpened prior to camp. Even at our camp, too, like come with sharpened skates.
And you're right, yes.
Your equipment plays a huge role.
Yeah, and when you get on the ice, the last thing you want to be doing is worrying about your equipment because your brain is so full of everything else.
Right.
So if you have aches and pains, body-wise, make sure that you communicate those with the staff, trainer, strength coach, whatever it is that's going to be at the camp.
Yeah.
If you have, you need new laces on your skates, you just go through and check everything to make sure that everything's good to go, I would say.
Yeah.
Because just being able to strictly focus on playing hockey is the first thing.
Right. You don't want something as simple as your equipment restricting you from being able to be at your highest level for camp.
Especially taking your attention away from everything the coaches are saying.
Right. Is it okay? So is this a pre-camp checklist or is this a checklist?
This is a camp checklist, but I think that's where it starts.
Okay.
Also, I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
It's completely unrelated.
Yeah.
Quick apology to everyone if you're listening. There was just some insanely loud figure skating music going on, so if that's in there, sorry. Once again, this is the life of a hockey player battling figure skaters.
Yeah.
So it just looks like we're doing it again.
Right. Here we are again. Okay. I don't know. This checklist might be a little sloppy, so we should put it in order for the people later on.
So I think maybe what we could do is just have like each of these are checks. They don't have to be in a particular order.
Okay.
Top 5, maybe, kind of
Top 5, top 7, top whatever.
Okay.
We'll find out. We'll see how many we got because the problem that we usually run into is like Because you're going to end up at one point saying, make sure you bring your fishing rods because you might be able to fish after camp for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Kidding me?
So we could have 38 million points.
Right.
Yeah, bring your fish trucks.
Never go to a goalie camp where there's not a good opportunity to fish after. You know?
Bring your exactly.
Alabama's got some great bass fishing around here. You know. Okay. For me, one thing on my checklist, and this is fresh in my mind because we actually kind of talked about it yesterday with the kids on the ice, is have the mindset when you come to camp that it's not all about being the best goalie in regards to making the most saves while you're at camp.
Or doing the skating drills the fastest.
Or just ripping through skating drills trying to be. I mean, I get it. We're competitors, right? As athletes, we're competitors. We want to be first. We think that if we're first, we're doing good. But at a camp like this, at certain times, depending on what we're doing. So, for example, at the beginning of each skate, when we're working on edge work with the goalies, that's not something that you need to rush through as fast as you can. Those edge work drills are built to prepare you for the skate, and they're not built to go as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You know, take your time, get a good stretch out of them, work on your edges. It's more so meant for that than just ripping through everything as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
Furthering that point, I think, again, as competitors and goalies, especially in camps when you're probably in like groups of 2 or 3 and you're in a rotation going net to net, you are constantly competing, or in your head you may constantly be competing with your goalie partners, wanting to do better than them, right? In doing so, often what I've seen at our camps and camps I've attended in the past where I've been guilty of this is in trying to stop every puck to outplay my goalie partner, I sacrifice the quality of the drill that I'm actually doing. You know, I'm missing the points that the coach prior said that has to do with this specific drill.
You're like diving around and stuff.
Right.
You're getting out of control.
Right. So as goalie coaches, I feel like we've said multiple times, whether it's in private lessons or camps or what have you, we don't care if you get scored on necessarily. Right? We don't care if during these specific drills you're getting scored on. We just want you to do the drill properly and get good at the movements that we're preaching so that when it comes time to game time, when it actually matters, you're better.
Yeah, and on that point, because like there's a couple drills we do where we're working on, butterfly and then power push over. There's been to that point where people just want to make the saves. They're worried about making the saves, that they're cheating that first shot. They're like sliding into the shot knowing the second shot's coming from the left side or whatever it happens. So they're cheating the drill, not doing what we're trying to work on to get that second opportunity, rebound or whatever it is. They're worried about making that save and making the most saves possible.
Right.
So that's something that I've seen a lot, and you definitely want to try and stay away from those if you can to get the most out of these drills.
Right. Yeah. There's a purpose to every drill that's designed. No matter what camp you're at, I would like to think there's a purpose behind it. So just to rush through the entire drill just to get to the end where the shot comes in is it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my first thing on the checklist. 4 minutes later.
I was just saying, if you're thinking about, we're just, that's okay. It's all part of it. This is great. If you're thinking about, okay, so obviously you're trying to stop the puck, but if you're thinking about, coach is going to be happy that I made every save on this, that's not what we look at. We're like when I'm coaching, when we're coaching, we're not looking at if you made the save. We're looking at what you're doing, because in the long run, what you're doing is what's going to matter, not whether you made this one particular save or not. So if a goalie gets scored on, they do anything right, I'm like, great, you did everything right. Don't get down on yourself. If they make a great save, but they do something wrong, it's like, hey, I know you want to make every save.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Coach?
How you doing? How y'all doing? How's things going over here?
I can't complain. We're competing with the figure skating music a little bit, but other than that, it's great.
I got you.
We need 3 mics. We only got 2 mics.
Yeah.
Okay. All good.
We need like a 6-person round table at some point. So don't think about, the coaches are going to evaluate you on whether you're doing everything right with good habits, not how many pucks you stop. Because when you're in these camps, when you're doing these drills, we're expecting you're not going to make as many saves as you normally would, because if you're doing it right, you should be out of your comfort zone. Your brain should be thinking about what you're trying to do better. So your reaction time just isn't going to be the same. Your reading and reacting is not going to be the same, because in a game, you don't want to think. You just want to play natural. But that allows your reaction, your reads, everything to be right on. When you're in a camp, you're trying to focus on what you want to get better at. And so your reactions, your brain is going to be too full to stop as many pucks as you normally would if you're doing it right.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but you nailed that on the head.
No,
So number
you said it
two-
all
yeah.
there, Stu.
So number 2 is do things quality rather than just do things quality. Do things the right way. Do things quality.
That was all number 2. So Drennen gets number 3.
All right,
Good
number
luck to
3.
you.
I mean, what I think is the most important thing about any camp is just trying things that you're not going to normally try in like a practice or anything. So, I mean, we talked about this yesterday, even just with the toe ties on the pads. Like a lot of these goalies sometimes use loose toe ties, some of them tight, just even like small equipment changes that may be more comfortable. And we talked about the butt pad yesterday, how I take the butt pads out because I heard someone else do it. So
That's almost impossible not to get distracted when our head coach walks right by.
yeah, I don't know, I haven't seen him in a minute. So that was interesting.
But yeah, sorry, keep going.
But yeah, just getting out of your comfort zone, whether it's making a different different way to make the same save you normally do, or different kind of pushes where you do it with your feet, and just learning from everyone. I mean, everyone has different ways that they do things, so you could try something that you've never tried before that someone else does, and you might find out you like it. Like I said, at my pants, I take the butt pad out of my pants because I heard Carey Price does it, and that's my favorite equipment hack that I've ever done.
Oh.
So just trying little things that you're not going to normally try on a day-to-day basis that you're, during the season. So like this is a point where you really experiment with things and find out if you like it. That's why I see so many NHL goalies. Now is when they try different pads. It's like, might as well try them, see if I like them.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I never thought of that. I mean, it's probably camps are I'm sure there's other times, but very rarely do you get surrounded by this many goalies at once. And you just have the opportunity to see how many different ways that everybody does certain things,
Because everybody does little tidbits that you might really like.
Right.
If you take one from everybody, you're going to have a lot of tidbits.
Yeah. If you're open-minded enough, like Drennen was saying, to actually look at things and be like, I'm going to try this and see if I like it or not. I think if you're coming, this is the time to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Like you don't want to be. I don't think you don't want to necessarily be changing your game or the way you do things the day before a big game in the regular season or playoffs or whatever.
Right.
The time is now.
Yeah.
You know? And again, it can be hard to not want to do that. Like we had a goalie yesterday on the ice who was trying some new pads, right? And that's a common thing at a camp. You're trying.
Yeah.
You've got new gear, whether it's like a demo pad or it's just new pads that you just got or whatever. He took them off within 15 minutes. He was like, I can't do this.
Did he legit get off the ice to take him off?
So before the skate, I literally brought him the demo pads from the pro shop. Put him in his stall.
Yeah.
He was so fired up. But he's been in the same set of pads for like 4 years. These things are like
So he's not used to it.
stomach sleeping pillow. They are the softest pads
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
For demo pads, he goes from that to the stiffest goalie pad true offers.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are sick pads, but you're going to be probably exhausted, and you're going to feel like an alien.
Yeah, you feel like your edges don't work really. I don't know how to explain it. New pads, like one kid was like, I have new pads. I feel like I can't feel my skates, like my blades on the ice. I was like, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is. I think it's probably just the structure of the pads, maybe the weight of the pads. I don't know that's different when you make the switch.
Yeah.
But, so with it, he was like, I'll be fine. 15 minutes in, he was like, Coach, can I please get off the ice and change my pads? And I'm looking at him, and I know the kid, and I'm like, this kid's a hard worker. He wouldn't be saying this.
Yeah.
He was like desperate at the moment,
Yeah.
It can be tough trying new things, but this is the time to do it.
Absolutely. It's all part of the comfort zone. If you went through the whole camp and was like, I was comfortable the whole time, I felt like I did everything great the whole time, then I feel like you didn't get as much out of it as you could have.
Yeah.
So that's number 3.
Number 3. No, we're now 4. Who's on 4?
That's Stu.
Stu again?
Okay. I have number 4. And this might be the stupidest point of them all so far. And out of this whole entire episode. My number 4, something that I always did, was bring a notebook. And when you're at a camp, you're going to learn a lot of stuff on the ice. You're going to be in a classroom setting probably with people giving lectures, people talking. You're going to do workouts. You're going to, we have Kelly comes in, talks about nutrition and how you can make your nutrition peak to get you to peak performance. So there's so much information. Your brain is not going to remember it all. And I think you might try to write it down on your phone, but if you're in a classroom, you don't want to be on your phone the whole time. You want to have that notebook. There's apparently studies that show that when you write something down by hand, you actually remember it better because your brain has to physically write it down and compute it rather than just putting it in on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like you said, we have so much information thrown out. We have so much information to give. And we talked about this when we were doing that video session. Like, we could talk about this for hours if we wanted to. Really, there's so much that goes into goaltending, on the ice, off the ice. There's so much. It's impossible to retain all of it.
Yeah.
Just in the moment.
Like we did a 45-minute video session. We were trying to pack so much information into a 45-minute video session, and we couldn't even get through. We just scratched the surface. We just had to get to the basics.
Yeah.
And that's 45 minutes. Like Drennen said, this could be hours and hours of presentation. And think about what we have here. So you've had how many years pro?
8.
8. I've had 6, 14, 15. So
Wow.
we're going into 7. We're going into 9. He's going into 2. So anyways, my point is, we're trying. What are you laughing at over there?
I gotta retire. It's getting insane already. Like, we're not making millions here. I don't know how my wife's still with me, man.
It's only my second year, and I'm like, damn, it's been a while. It feels like
Dang, it's already kind of been a grind.
Hips are already screaming a little bit.
You're like that one year in the SP took 5 years off my life. Like, tell me about it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're trying to take 15 years of pro. You have 4 years of college, 4 years of college, 5 years. That's 8 plus 5, 13. So you have 15 years of pro, 13 years of high-level college junior, plus our junior. So that's, I mean, we're trying to put, that's what, did you go through like 30 years? That's a lot. The point is.
I'm a numbers guy, and I don't know.
Here's the point.
So I have no idea.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Vita Era Hydration. Vita Era addresses 2 critical issues for a healthy lifestyle. First, throughout your day, you lose essential vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes. Whether you're taking a walk, working out, or engaging in any energy-intensive activity, Vita Era replenishes these nutrients without the processed sugars and artificial additives like sucralose or aspartame found in many hydration products. Instead, Vita Era uses stevia, one of the healthiest natural sweeteners, to provide a refreshing taste. Second, with 60 to 70% of our bodies made up of water and 75% of people chronically dehydrated, it's showing that we're not drinking enough water. As an additive to water, Vita Era encourages you to increase your water intake. Vita Era is a 3-in-1 solution. It provides your everyday essential vitamins and minerals, green tea for enhanced performance and recovery, and electrolytes to maximize hydration efficiency. Each serving includes 500 milligrams of potassium, equivalent to the potassium content of a banana. Stay hydrated. Drink Vita Era.
Here's the point. We're trying to take 15 years of pro, 15 years of college junior. We're trying to take, and our youth hockey years, we're trying to take all that knowledge and somehow package it and give it to you in a few short days. It's impossible. But the point is, because there is so much information, it's going to be information after information. It's going to be time. It's going to be point. And some of it might be like a 5-second conversation, but we're trying to give you 1 point of how to be better.
Yeah.
And there's no way your brain can compute all that.
Yeah, and on that point, even like when I'm home and I'm like giving lessons to some goalies, young goalies, local goalies, what I always tell them as well, along with a notepad, that same concept is, even when you're taking a lesson, an individual lesson, just like write down what you can learn through that lesson. Because like I was telling one kid I work with, like, oh, if we're working on glove today, we're changing like how he holds his glove, how he reacts, X, Y, and Z of like what to change. Middle of the season, he may be doing great. He may learn that, pick it up right away, incorporate it, not let up a single bad glove save or glove goal. Sorry, but mid of the year you're learning so much. You're changing so many things. Trying like with coaches, with goalie coaches, goalie partners. There's so much to change throughout the year. Sometimes you need that refresher, like looking back, like, oh, let me see what. I changed something during the summer. I don't remember what it was. And then you look back in your notes like, oh, I did this with my glove. I changed here. So even just stuff like that, looking back after you forget this, but you remember like, oh, man, I remember what lots he told me that one day helped me a lot, but I lost that.
Right.
So same thing, just looking back and kind of trying to, like, you can't just remember what you learned. Sometimes you need that physical reminder of looking back at what
There's
what
no
did
way.
I learn?
There's
What
way
did you
your
tell me?
brain could never. remember all that. Also, I don't want to discredit, give the rest of our staff less credit than they should get because we just talked about physically being on the ice. Now you're talking about however many years of training experience Will has that he's trying to impart on you. However many years of experience Kelly has with nutrition that she's trying to impart on you. However many years of doing his character, leadership development, all the self-development, all the training that Chuck has done in all those fields, however many years he has.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to put all of our years together into your brain in a few days.
It's information overload, and I mean, I'm someone who can't remember what happened like a day ago. I have short-term and long-term memory issues. Okay, so I'm definitely one that would need a notepad. I'm also definitely one that never brought one to camp, and no rhyme or reason. It was never. Hayden Stewart never recommended that to me. I didn't. Yeah, neither. And as a kid, I haven't seen one kid with a notepad here because no one's recommended it to him. Right? And there's certain things like something like that. I feel like if someone that you trust and look up to tells you to do, then your chances of actually doing it increase by, a stupid percentage. You know, it's just not in their brain.
No,
like it wasn't in mine.
But I think that's how you squeeze the most juice out of this lemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You can get like 6 gallons of lemonade instead of just one.
Right. It's more like a watermelon.
It's a big watermelon.
It's a big one. Yeah. Yeah. It's so much information. And to be honest, even if you wrote it all down, you're probably not going to be able to write everything down, and you're going to miss something.
You're not. It's going to be impossible.
But that's okay. Because if you, in my opinion, from a week of camp, if you can just pull, even 3 things, depending on what they are, then success. Right?
Absolutely.
You're improving your game. You're probably at a camp like this, I hope you're improving your character and just who you are as a person, which leads me to 5.
Around 5.
Reminder, when we're after this, when we're done with our points for camp, I have a point for after camp.
Okay. Well, leads me to point 5. What are we calling the checklist? Did we have a name for it? How to get the most out of camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just check.
Right. I'm gonna need some help with this one. I'm just gonna puke it out, and then you guys need to clean up the mess. Okay.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah.
How you handle yourself at camp is important. There's many things that tie into that. I'm gonna go into them. This is me puking, and then you guys can clean up the mess.
Good. I think this is a great one.
And we had this conversation on the ice yesterday. I had the conversation with a few individuals. We're talking about some young kids here, but there's also some older kids that I need to have a conversation with as well. But the cliff notes on this is being respectful, good body language, not leaving a mess anywhere in your stall or at the table when you're eating lunch, wherever it may be. All these things matter. And to quote you, and I'm just going to say I'm paraphrasing because I'm probably going to mess up your quote because, again, I have short-term memory loss. On the ice yesterday, you said, if your stall is a mess, you're going to be a mess on the ice.
It was more like if you're disciplined everywhere you are, you're going to be disciplined on the ice and you're going to get better really fast.
Right.
And you're going to play well.
Make your bed. Make your damn bed. These things matter, and they matter for you as a goaltender and an athlete, but they also just matter for you as a person, Like the odds are, like majority of goalies, youth goalies, aren't going to play pro hockey, right? But when you come to a camp like this, or most camps, or if you're on a hockey team, whatever, the beautiful thing about sports and events like this is, if done right, you're going to be, without even knowing it, you're going to be building. You're going to be building character traits, whether that's accountability, being respectful, a bunch of different things. These things matter. They matter to your parents. They matter to your coaches of whatever team you're going to be trying out for in the future or playing on in the future. Because I promise, if a coach has player A and player B, and in his opinion, he likes them equally in regards to puck stopping. But player A leaves his stall a mess and is disrespectful, and player B does the opposite, he's going to pick player B every time. So these things matter.
Yeah, and it's kind of you could tell just from camps how they work at camps, like how they're going to be when they go to a junior camp. You know, when there's like coaches and they're trying to make a team and they're trying to like please these coaches. If that's kind of our job here is to kind of prepare them for those camps as well.
Yeah,
So they got to be able to learn, all right, how to, like you said, cleaner, like take up after yourself, how to treat other people. You know, like
Right.
there's just so much that you can learn in terms of character that you bring to these camps. You got to pretend like there's someone watching all the time.
Right.
So just because it's the assistant coach doesn't mean you have to treat him differently than the head coach. And that's kind of really big in terms of junior hockey. You know, the respect is huge in hockey. Like coaches, if you're respectful, that bumps you up a lot.
Right.
So it's just learning those things and then how you act with other people, even if like they're struggling with something, you're able to help them out. There's just so much at camps that you learn as you grow as a person that's going to help you later down the road.
Right. If you made a good point. You got to treat. You use the analogy. You got to treat the assistant coach just as well as the head coach, or something along those lines. You got to treat the Zamboni driver as good as the head coach.
Yeah.
Because that Zamboni driver could have a relationship with somebody, or even the head coach himself. And if
Yeah.
he goes to him and says that player treated me like shit, coach is going to be pissed.
Right.
You might get cut.
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
you're at the very least going to get ripped.
Yeah,
So you got to treat everyone around the rink with respect.
exactly. And you got to think about the job of a coach and the job of any manager, leader of any company, team, because there's teams in anything you do. Their job is to create the best team culture and accountability and leadership and character in that room, because that's what wins championships. So if I have goalie A that stops this many pucks and goalie B that stops this many pucks, goalie A is a mess, like you said, goalie B is really disciplined, I'm going to take goalie B because I know that is going to rub off on the locker room. And now our level of discipline as a team is going to go up.
Right.
And that's what's going to win championships or develop players, whatever it might be.
100%. So, anything else on number 5?
You want me to should I tell my Vassy, the Vassy stall
Yes.
story?
Yes. People will love that.
Okay, so I got lucky in terms of, so even we were talking about little things like even just setting up your stall perfectly. I feel like when you come into the locker room, your stall is set up, everything is in order, you just feel ready to go, like it's dialed in. You're locked, you're just focused because you come into a clean stall, everything's so detailed, you're going to be detailed when you go on the ice. You're going to be disciplined. If it's practice, you're going to get better. If it's a game, you're going to play your best. And I learned about the stall thing because I was skating at a rink. I was training. I walked in. I had my gear set up in sort of a stall type area, and it looked good, but it didn't look perfect. Didn't look that detailed. Everything was hanging nicely, but it could have been better. I look at the guy whose gear is set up across the room. He's also 20 years old. At that point, he's had a little bit better career than I've had. At this point, he still does.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at his stall, and I'm, like, staring at it amazed. I'm like, everything is set up perfect to, like, the centimeter. And I'm an American, so I hate using centimeters. But I got to think, everything is set up to the 1/8 of an inch. How about that? We're not using the metric system around here.
Oh, man.
So it looks perfect. And you know whose stall it was? I was like, this guy, where he's at, his level of discipline and how he sets up his stall to prepare every day, that's where I need to be. That's what I need to do. And that goalie whose gear that was, is Andrei Vasilevsky. If you don't know who he is, I would look him up.
If you don't know who he is, you know who he is because you're listening to this podcast. You got to know who he is.
It's like that's how this guy lives his life. That's his level of detail in everything he does. And so because he's like that as a human, when he goes on the ice, obviously his level of detail is insane.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so good.
It's not a coincidence that he's one of the most, if not the most detailed goalie in the NHL. The only one I was going to say, the only one I could think of is Bob. Aside,
Why would setting up your stall a certain way matter to how you play? Like,
Right.
Why would it affect that?
So we're talking about Bobrovsky, the Stanley Cup winner, and definitely one of the best goalies in the league, and Andrei Vasilevsky, who's been probably over the last 5 years the most known to be the best goalie in the league, being super detailed individuals, whether it's out there or in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Tampa, so I'm obviously a huge Vasilevsky fan. And you talk to anyone in that organization, and they will tell you that Vasilevsky is the hardest worker on the team, day in, day out. And that's a testament to why he's at where he is. So he was 20 years old, and that story you told us, and he was in a starting goal in the AHL.
Yeah.
I think that next year was.
Who does that?
Right.
I think next year he
Nobody.
was the starting goalie in playoffs after Bishop got hurt, playing against at 21 years old.
Like,
It's
what
not a
are we-
coincidence.
At 20, yeah, we're talking about an elite human being. At 20 years old, I was not like that. I was my.
I don't want to know.
No.
You do not want to know. You do not want to know what I was like at 20 years old. But it wasn't that, and it was bad. And now Andre Vasilevsky's making what, 10 million a year?
Yeah, some 9, I think.
A lot.
The team-friendly deal.
Okay, so nine
Yeah.
9 million a year.
No state income tax.
And yeah. On top of all like his what do you call them, sponsor
Yeah,
deals or
sponsors.
whatever. While I'm in the SPHL sitting in the PCC practice rink, right? Don't get me wrong, I love my life,
Reason
but
right now.
there's a reason
Full
why, right? There's a reason why he's there and I'm here,
Yeah.
and it could have very well to do with that time frame from when you're 16 to 20 years old, how mature you are and how you handle yourself. You know, he clearly was a lot more detailed and disciplined than I was at that age. Definitely, 100%. I hope. Right.
Yeah, and that's just something that they wouldn't know unless we kind of tell them. Again, and that's
Yeah.
the point of learning from all the coaches, from the years of experience that we have, the things that we notice, and that what we want to let them know, because I never had anyone tell me that.
Right.
I mean, I'm the first generation. I think, Stu, you also mentioned that we're both first generational hockey players, and we're able to get to where we are kind of on our own, and now we're able to help others, goalies, with information that we learned so they don't have to go through that.
Right. So as a kid or goalie attending camp, soak in all that information from guys like us. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, we're not just saying it to say it.
And like you said, it's everything. It's like everything with how you conduct yourself.
Right. It's not just on the ice.
No,
It's
detail.
everywhere.
Yeah.
All around. All right, so you said you had a checklist for after post camp. So we're getting to now.
All
Are we
right.
done with the 5?
Yeah, I'm five's good.
I mean, those are good 5.
Yeah.
What do we have for time here?
I mean, there's some.
We got like 2 minutes.
All right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to list any names, but there's some NHL coaches that if they don't like how your shoes are not tied the right way, they get upset.
Right.
So I'm telling you, that's the level of detail. If your shoes are untied because you just weighed in and now you just slipped them back on, you didn't tie them for another 5 minutes, they're not going to be happy. And that's the level of detail that's expected at levels. And I'm not saying everyone's going to play in the NHL, obviously.
Right.
What I'm saying is that when you go to another job, when you go to another team, if they're any good, they're going to have a high level of detail also, and you just want to develop that.
Right. 100%. Shoes being untied and bad haircuts. From our experience alone, we know that doesn't fly with NHL coaches.
But somehow soul patches do.
If you have, that is true. He never mentioned the soul patch. But if you have long hair on the top, short on the side, and you have it in a ponytail, greased back, and it looks like you're wearing a bike helmet, that doesn't fly.
If I could crack an egg on your hair. That's how much product is in there.
Extra, extra, extra stiff gel.
Like the LA Looks high hold 10 on the
Right.
on the hold scale.
yeah, yeah.
It's like if I when we're in the we got to be glued. When we're in the sun, it like glints off and goes into my eye.
But does not like extra, extra stiff gel.
Yeah, maybe start with the medium hold first.
But let me tell you, right? I'll tell you what he does.
Crew
like.
fiber, I recommend.
He does like taking a Bic
But-
razor to your head. He likes it.
he likes it down to the wood.
Let me tell you how much he likes that. I have never seen a man so proud in my life.
It's Dan Bilesma. We're forming men. Nick Saban, he says the same thing. We want to make good football players, but we're making good human beings.
Right.
And that's what's going to lead to a successful team and success with anything they do in life.
Right. 100%.
Okay, so we wanted to move to the last point, right?
Yeah, like in a hurry.
Okay, let's go fast.
Yeah.
Okay, the last point. You have everything written down in your notebook. You have all this stuff you learned. The coaches met with you after and told you what you need to work on. Now, maybe you can work with the coaches. Now what happens is you have to make a plan and a system to improve whatever you need to improve on. So I need to improve my skating. So in your notebook, here's your plan. What's your system? Okay, maybe when I get on for practice, I do 10 minutes of skating every day. When I go on for stick and puck or lesson, we do 10 minutes of skating every day. It's just those little things. I'd say have a plan for how you're going to improve going forward, because if you just, they call it, what do they call it, bookshelf knowledge, where you learn something and then you just toss it on the bookshelf. You never think about it again. So now, how are you going to implement You know, you read a book and then you just toss it on the shelf. You never think about it.
There's a place for those? I don't know.
It's a book. So now that you've learned all this, you have to take action on doing it, and you have to take action on improving your game on your own with the knowledge that you've gotten. So create a plan, how you're going to improve, and a system so that plan comes through.
Yeah, something to hold yourself accountable, either if it's telling your parents, like, when they're watching practice, or your goalie partner or goalie coach or your head coach or whoever it is, to have a system that's, like, holding you accountable to make sure you are working on things that you need to work on is it's huge.
Yeah, because you just don't want to go to the camp, you get some reps, but that's all you get out of it, and then it's wasted. You know, you want to make the most out of everything, which is what this whole thing is about.
Yeah. Man, we didn't even get into talking about our goalie system we had this year.
Oh, man. You want to comment on that real quick? Goalie system?
Oh, man, we just...
I mean, Drennen's here. Drennen's here. We have to make a comment about the goalie system.
Okay, take it away.
What do you want here?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Drennen's taking it. Let's go.
All right. Well,
Let's go.
No, just a system of having a good goalie partners in general. And
Trio.
And just trio. That doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't.
But just being able to talk to someone because we all want to better each other, obviously. So if I come with thoughts with advice or Stewie with advice, I know they're going to try and help me. They're not going to give me wrong advice and all that good stuff. So, I mean, that's huge to be able to lean on someone if you're having – I had a bad game one time, and then both of them came up and talked to me, kind of, say, hey, it's over, get over with. And then so just that little thing is huge. I mean, if you ever have a goalie partner that's not a good goalie partner, it's a long
Brutal.
season. It's a long season.
The next game, and the next, like, 5 games after that, you were stellar.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But
Yeah. Five or like 11.
they weren't that bad as I want to get them, that's for sure.
No, it's everything. Like at the end of the day, the only person that knows exactly what you're going through in regards to hockey during the season is your goalie partner. There's nobody else on the team. There's nobody else in the world that sees your day-to-day like your goalie partner. So the importance to have somebody that you're close with, that you trust, and have a good relationship, being your goalie partner is huge. Like, and I'll probably sound like a broken record here and repeat a lot of stuff you just said, but for me, like obviously Stu and I, we're going on year 4 together. You rolled in here, and we're year 5.
5.
4 years already, right? COVID, last place, second place, first place. Those are our league standings. I don't care about those. I'm just trying to remember.
Right. So we've been together for so we're going into year 5, which is rare at this level of hockey. It's very rare to have a goalie partner for that long. So we're obviously close. We obviously get along. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have played here for as long as we have together. Drennen comes in during year 4 that we're together, and he just rolls right in. He's a good dude. Everyone loves him. He works hard. Hell of a goalie. How important that is for the team to have someone like Drennen come in and be the way you are was huge. If he came in and he was arrogant or just not the greatest guy, not even worried about on the ice at that point, it would mess with the room. You know, you've got a bunch of brothers in there that've been there for a while. We're buddies, whatever. Someone comes in and they mess with that, it can really screw up a team on the ice at the end of the day, and that's what everyone cares about, right? So having a good, in our case, trio this year was a special opportunity, I think, for all of us, and it worked very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the closest I've ever seen any goalie partners in general. So,
yeah.
I mean, just having that relationship, and then I wouldn't be here working this camp, obviously, if we didn't have a good relationship. So,
yeah.
And it helps the team, helps each other. Like I said, when I was going through bad games, it's to have someone support system to help. It just means the world. So, I mean, no one likes a bad teammate. No one.
No.
Especially goalies. There's only 2 of you, typically.
Yeah.
Typically, there's only 2 of you. So if one of you's, not a good goalie partner, then it just throws everything off. It makes it miserable to go to the rink. You don't feel like anyone has your back. I mean,
it'd be lonely, man.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
we've all been there, but it's been so long for me. I haven't had a bad goalie partner in so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just feel like if you don't have that support system with a guy knows everything that you're going through, then you get in your own head and it's harder to get out of.
Yeah. I heard a quote that we outsource our sanity. And if you don't have someone to keep you sane by venting and talking to them, you're just going to go insane as a goalie.
Right.
Especially dealing with the bad games, all the stuff like you're talking about. It's huge. I mean, and also if you help your goalie partner get better and you're supportive to them, you're gonna get better too. Like you guys are both gonna get better faster.
Right. You're gonna good point. I
Which is
didn't
the
even
goal.
think about the fact that we all push each other too. You know what I mean? That plays a big role
In a good way.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. By push each other, I just mean we show up every day, we do the work, which leads to success,
Yeah.
which pushes each other because at the end of the day, we're all competing for the exact same job.
Yeah.
You know, which I can see. I can't even think of a time it's happened to me personally. I don't know about you guys, but I can see how competing for the same job with personalities that maybe clash, or just a good guy with a bad guy.
Yeah, that'd be different.
God forbid, two bad guys.
Yeah.
I can see that causing some controversy.
Yeah.
But I can't even think of a time in my head that's ever really happened. Not in pro.
No, not for me either.
Yeah. Anyways,
That's it.
Yeah, but just one last part on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I mean, it was difficult, like I said, for bringing someone else after the relationship you guys had. And for me, it was hard because I'm coming in and got a goalie of the year over here, who was every game he played was freaking. He could have got the belt every game, hands down, and no questions asked. But so even that, he played majority of the games, but it was still working together, working and improving each other. And we play completely different styles. So going back to what we're learning in camp, always learn off one another. I mean, I learned a lot from Stewie just because he has a totally different style of play. So just seeing things from his point of view, talk about some of the goals I let up, and different styles I could have used in those moments, helped me grow a lot too as well.
Yeah, we just enjoy talking about it as goalies.
we can disagree with each other too. There's certain things we disagree on.
Yeah.
But I think that's a benefit, kind of like what Dragon was just saying. Coming to camp, you're getting 3 different perspectives on the position. Like we're going to be similar for the most part, but there's going to be some differences between the 3 of us, which I think is a really
great.
good thing.
That's really good.
I'd rather have more opinions than less opinions. That's
Absolutely.
the motto for sure.
This is going to test the mics. I think they'll be okay.
Bed balls slamming behind us. This is awesome.
I told Will. He said we're gonna try to manage the volume. I said no, make it as loud as possible. We're gonna find out how.
Slam that thing, Shay.
We're gonna find out how these mics work.
Look like you love that floor.
There you go.
I think we went a little overboard with the time here, but it was.
We did.
Talk. I mean, we could talk like we could talk.
We
about
could
this
talk
for hours.
we could have an 8-hour episode.
We could.
But
we really wanted to.
we're cutting it at about 45. We did good as far as everything is concerned. We had Drennen here, so I mean we have to get as much out of it as we can in 45 minutes.
Thank you, Drennen.
Yeah.
Thank you for being on here. Thank you for being.
Thanks
at
for
our
coming
camp.
on. Thanks for being at the camp.
What an addition!
Yeah.
It's been a blast so far.
Yeah, it's been great.
Appreciate having you on, man.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Thanks, Drago.
Hey, thanks for being here. It's good. It's been fun. Let's keep having fun.
Yeah.
About it.
That's it. Close us out.
All right.